Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Walking Together. Thank you for joining me. I pray that this time is a blessing and an encouragement to you. This week, I want to look at Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 4, and I'm going to read it initially from the Passion Translation. When you speak healing words, you offer others fruit from the tree of life. But unhealthy, negative words do nothing but crush their hopes. Or the same scripture from the King James Version, it says, a wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. That's amazing that we can bring fruit from the tree of life. Our words can be very powerful. God spoke and it brought the whole of creation into being. I hope that you can remember times when people have really spoken hope and encouragement and grace into your life that's helped you to move forward in confidence. And I pray that you receive healing for those words that have wounded you. Although sometimes we do need those corrections, we do sometimes need the truth, but we need grace too. Words are so important. Proverbs chapter 16:24 says, pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. They go deep, don't they? Into our heart, into our mind, into our soul, into our spirit. Words are really, really important. It can be good sometimes just to take a minute and say, God, is there something that you want to say in this situation? Is there something that's on your heart? We need to have open ears and open hearts because I think God has a lot to say to both us and to others, and it can make a difference. But one thing it says in the King James, perverseness is a breach. We need to be careful of what we say and why we say it. It says in chapter 10, Proverbs 10:11, the teachings of the lovers of God are like living truth, flowing from the fountain of life, but the words of the wicked hide an ulterior motive. The motive behind our words is as powerful as the words themselves. It's like that shaking hands. It can be done in so many ways, but when it's friendship and the heart comes through. Even when we're saying nice things, we need to be careful that it's not because I'm a nice person or because it's my ministry. We need to be really careful of our motives because our motives make a big difference. We need to be genuine at all times. Some people, they say things because they're trying to exert some kind of a power. They're trying to draw people to themselves or manipulate in some ways. We need to be always so careful because words are powerful, and we need to make sure that there is no hidden agenda when we share with people, that we're not trying to build something around ourselves or make people go in the direction that we want them to go. It needs to be honest, open, nothing hidden. No hidden hooks, no hidden syrup, no saccharin, just honest, genuine words. We don't need to build up a following. We don't want to make people feel as though they need us. It needs to be words from the tree of life, not words from our hidden agenda, nice though it might sound. Do you know, even a sentence like thank you, 2 words, it can be said in so many ways and for so many reasons. And we need to always keep checking our reasons. Our reasons are so important. It says in Proverbs chapter 4, 23 and 24, so above all, guard the affections of your heart, for they affect all that you are. Pay attention to the welfare of your innermost being, for from there flows the wellspring of life. Avoid dishonest speech and pretentious words. Be free from using perverse words no matter what. See, it's like this broadcast today. It's super flattering. I know the way the camera's set up, it's super flattering. And I'm presenting myself in a super, super light. And we can do that with our words. But also how we see others. We can see them with gentleness and grace or harshness. And it can be like that with our words. And we need to check our hearts at all times. We need to make sure that our inner life is healthy, because then what we portray, what we give, what we do, what we say, it's healthy. It's life-giving. It's pure. As we recognize that we can be vessels, we make ourselves available to God. And as we check ourselves and know that we're only vessels, we can't produce life, we can't produce healing, but we can serve God and we can serve each other. We need always to allow God to be at work in our inner life, bringing truth, bringing light that is both accurate but also gracious, always full of grace and truth and wisdom. God can use you. You can bring that fruit from the tree of life, but you need to have it within you. God can use whatever he chooses. I know God's spoken to me in adverts. He's spoken to me through non-Christian music. He's spoken to me through signs on trucks. He's spoken to me through non-Christians. But when it's people that are choosing to love God and love me, it's amazing the grace that we can bring to each other. And I want to be part of that, both receiving it and giving it. It is a tree of life, and sometimes what people share might not make sense at that particular moment, but it's a seed and it's for the future. And like Mary, when she didn't understand everything, she hid it in her heart. Some things that people share, they might make sense 10 years down the road. But we know that there's something good there and we hold it and we keep it. It says in James chapter 3, 17 and 18, again in the Passion, the wisdom from above is always pure, filled with peace, considerate and teachable. It is filled with love and never displays prejudice or hypocrisy in any form. It always bears the beautiful harvest of righteousness. Good seeds of wisdom's fruit will be planted with peaceful acts by those who cherish making peace. Words, they bring a harvest. So it's important what we plant. It's important what we receive too. Sometimes we need to have wisdom in what we receive. Words filled with peace, filled with grace. They bring life. And it's not just a natural thing. And do you know, sometimes we're going to get things wrong. But if they come from a pure motive, then it's still going to be love and encouragement. And it's a learning process, learning to hear God, learning to share his goodness, share his love, share our love. Sometimes we just want to share our love, and that's okay too. But sometimes we want to be able to share the goodness of God. And it's risky and it's scary. And we're going to get it wrong sometimes. But we want to be able to bring a blessing. Maybe words of prophecy, maybe words of knowledge, but always from the tree of life. Not to get people to do what we think they should do, or what suits us, or makes us look good, or is for our benefit, or from our opinion. But what brings out the best, what shows the heart of God, what leads people and blesses them only into God's ways, not our ways. So we need to have a healthy, because if we have an unhealthy river, mixed motives, then what's going to come out of our mouth is going to be mixed. So we need to always invite God to search us, to check us, and to take us forward. And it doesn't mean we have to be perfect, but it means we need to always be teachable, accountable, answerable, because we want to be able to speak good things. We want to show mercy and peace. Jesus just spoke and he said, "Be still." And the storm was stilled. Sometimes he just said, "Receive your sight." People received their sight. Sometimes we think we have to say a lot of words, but sometimes Jesus only spoke one or two words. It isn't in the multitude of words. It's in an authority, a love, a grace. Sometimes we just need to remember to keep it simple. Sometimes we need to remember to stay on track, not embellish, not add. It isn't a lot of words that makes a difference. It's truth. Sometimes you'll know the truth. The truth will make you free. It's not always complicated. It just cuts and it just makes a difference. Sometimes a word changes the whole atmosphere. Peace be still. And everything changes. Receive your sight. And the darkness is gone. Keep it simple. So many times when Jesus spoke, it was just really simple. He just said, "Mary." She didn't know who he was. She was so distressed after the crucifixion. And he just spoke her name, Mary. And she recognized him. She recognized his presence. That life just came as he spoke her name. And sometimes people need to just hear their name. They just need to hear that grace of God. It's just life. It's not always about great complicated explanations. It's just about hearing the voice of God through each other. Coming into the presence of God together, releasing life and strength to each other with our words, just as we share together. Receive peace, receive life. Jesus again and again just spoke, just simply, because he was giving who he was in his words. He was giving his love, and love needs to be the motivation in what we say and in what we do. Like I said, even thank you. Thank you can change things. It can be sarcastic, but it can also be such a recognition of a gift that's been given and of a heart that was behind it and of the excellence that's in what somebody's done. We're just one way God can speak. God can speak through a donkey, so we don't need to get too hung up in one sense of being really clever. God can use whatever he chooses, but he wants to use you and me. He wants to use us to bring grace. Proverbs 4:20-22. Listen carefully, my dear child, to everything that I teach you, and pay attention to all that I say. Fill your thoughts with my words until they penetrate deep into your spirit. Then as you unwrap my words, they will impart true life and radiant health into the very core of your being. Having good things to say can often start with being a good listener. If we're not good at hearing truth, then we're less likely to be good at speaking truth. And if we're not good at receiving grace, then what do we have to share? And we need to let the goodness of God soak right into who we are and into where we are, so that we are light bearers, truth bringers, peace carriers, and speakers of the goodness of God. Let the goodness of God fill your heart and life. Receive it from him. Receive it from others. And then share his goodness you do have words of grace. You do have words of love to share, freely receive and freely give. Freely receive and freely give. Keep it simple. Amen.